With a look at the rules for the upcoming 5-on-5 basketball season here at Intramural Sports at Florida State University, I'm David Peters. We're going to walk you through how to play basketball, a couple of changes that you might see on the NBA, the NCAA, what you're watching on TV, not exactly how we play it in intramurals here at Florida State. We'll tell you all about that coming up in this podcast. Also coming up, facility information, where you can go to check in. Again, a couple of those rules highlights and league information. Know that everything we do here in Intramural Sports is based off of our 7 principles of intramurals, and they include involvement, participation, fair play, and sportsmanship. Yep, that's right. Sportsmanship, very important to us here in Intramural Sports. 5-on-5 basketball is played in Tully Gym. It's right next door to the Leach Center. No alcohol, no tobacco, no pets throughout the facility, and we don't allow food or flavored drinks on the gym floor, just bottled water. So you can certainly have your dinner or whatever you want to eat in the lobby area, but once you come into the gym space, we'd ask that you only bring in bottled water into that area of Tully Gym. Now, every player must check in, and you can do that right there in the lobby, which is on the side with the soccer and softball field for athletics. So on that side of the facility in the lobby is where we will have our check-in table. You'll need your current valid FSU card for every player. They'll present that at the check-in. Usually about 10 minutes prior to game time is the best time to be there to check in. You can always check in a little bit earlier than that. Because we have games going on every court available in Tully Gym, there's a limited amount of space, or none at all, honestly, for warm-up before the game. You'll have some time, if there are a few minutes between games, to get out there and do a little bit of shooting. But just know that there's not much other space to warm up. So you do, however, have to check in. And you can wait out there in the lobby. You can come in and watch other games, but check-in occurs there in the lobby of Tully Gym. You can only be on one team in our basketball league. So once you're on a team, a men's team, a women's team, whatever division, you're stuck on that for the entire season. I'll let you change. So make sure you make a good decision. You can add players throughout the year to your team, but once they're on your team, they're locked in for the rest of the particular basketball season. For more information about what other captain responsibilities are important so that you kind of are knowledgeable about player eligibility or our Forgotten ID Pass, we've got some information available at our Team Captains podcast. It's available separately, also on our website in the 7 Principles of Intramural Sports. And I mentioned sportsmanship, very important to us here at Florida State. Teams and participants need to have good sportsmanship, and we also include your fans as part of that score, because every team gets a score between 0 and 4 every game, and you need a 3.0 average to make it to the postseason. So make sure that you're reminding both your players that are on the court with you, your substitutes, and even some fans that are with you who are, I'm sure, supporting you. Maybe not in the best manner. If they aren't supporting you in the positive light, perhaps you should remind them that they are affecting your sportsmanship score. For more information on sportsmanship, our sportsmanship podcast and the guidelines are available online at campusrec.fsu.edu/IM. All right, let's talk about basketball rules real fast. Men's and women's teams, it's 5-on-5 out there. You need 4 players to start a game. 3 players at game time is a default. 2 is a forfeit, and we put this on here because 2 costs you some money. There's a forfeit fine when you forfeit. So make sure you have at least 3 there, but you can't play until you have 4 players there, and they should be checked in and ready to go at game time. Bring your own basketball, that's fun. We also have basketballs available for checkout out there where you check in, so you'll see our folks in the lobby to check out a basketball if you need one. Appropriate running or basketball shoes are required. Jewelry is not allowed to be worn by any participant in our basketball leagues, and headwear is also prohibited. After a team warning, the penalty for wearing improper equipment is a technical foul, so let's make sure we don't have that while you're out there on the court. Dunking is also not allowed. This is a safety issue for Tully Gym. Anytime hanging on the rim is also prohibited. So before, during, after a game, halftime, and even during the game, we do not allow dunking. So for those of you who have the skills for that, you will not be able to do that in Tully Gym because it is a technical foul, and you're also subject to immediate ejection should you be dunking in Tully Gym. Game time, 2 halves of 20 minutes each. It's a running clock. It's used throughout the entire first half and until the 2-minute mark of the second half. So that means we run the clock during free throw shooting and everything. The only time the clock will stop in either half, before the 2-minute mark, at least the second half, is for a team timeout or an official's timeout. And then after the 2-minute mark, the clock runs and stops, just like high school basketball. Now, overtime will exist, but only in the playoffs. Our regular season games can end in a tie, but we will play it in the playoffs, obviously, because we need a winner. Overtime is just 2 minutes in length. It's a very express overtime. We will start that again with the jump ball at center court, and if we need another overtime, we'll restart with yet another jump ball at center court and play another 2 minutes. Please note that all fouls and timeouts carry over from the second half, but each team receives an additional timeout in overtime. Timeouts, 3 per game. They're all 1 minute in length, so we don't have a 20-second or a 30-second timeout, just all 1 minute. And only those players on the court can call timeout. So subs and coaches along the sideline, we do not recognize you for a timeout because sometimes it's difficult to figure out who's actually with your team and who may just be standing there yelling timeout. So got to be on the court to call timeout. A couple of mercy rules that help us move things along quickly when sometimes a game gets a little lopsided. At 30 points at the 5-minute mark. If a team is up by 30 points anytime within the last 5 minutes of the second half, the game will be called at that point. And if a team is up by 20 points at the 2-minute mark, we just keep the clock running in those last 2 minutes. Now, if the margin slips below 20 and a team's up by 18, then the clock rules will apply again and we'll start stopping the clock. But again, that's only in the last 2 minutes of the second half. We play by high school rules here, so here is a common list of violations and fouls that certainly can occur. So think high school rules as you're playing intramural basketball. And things that we want to point out include bonus free throws. We will shoot those when appropriate throughout the game, 1 and 1 on team fouls 7, 8, and 9 in each half, and 2 shots on team fouls 10 and above in each half. During the first half, and again until the 2-minute mark of the second half, the clock does run during those free throws. So the more fouling you do, sadly, the more time you're wasting lining up for those free throws. Now take a look at the free throw lane restrictions. All players positioned behind the three-point line and the free throw line extended if they are not on the lane. So again, three-point line not drawn in here, but you've got to be up above that area if you are not going to be positioned along the lane. And then there are certain spaces that can and cannot be taken by each team along the lane. So no players in the far bottom spot below the block. We do not allow players there. The first spot above the block, the defense must take that on both sides of the lane. So we're always going to have 2 defensive players along the lane in that spot. The offense then has the option to take the next spot on both sides, and the defense has the option to take the top spot on both sides. But no players may slide down. So the defense can't just slide down and take the offensive spot if they don't take it. Only the offense can have this spot, but they don't have to take it. And the same thing for the defense. They're the only ones allowed in that top spot. If they don't take it, it is just going to be open. All right, this isn't the NCAA. You won't see a shot clock out there, so a couple quick reminders. And again, as we just mentioned on those free throws, players will not be in the bottom space. They're always going to be above that, and they cannot stand on the block either. And it's not the NBA, although some folks think it is. It is not. And there are no restrictions for where a charge can be taken anywhere on the court, so you can take a charge in the lane. That's fine in intramural basketball. And following a timeout after a made basket, the throw-in does not move to half court. You're still going to throw it in on the baseline. We don't have that movement of the ball into front court to save some time. That does not occur in intramural basketball. And that's really about it. Other than that, pretty much standard basketball rules apply in intramurals here. That should make the team captain's exam pretty easy because most of you already know how to play. You'll want to make sure you finalize your team registration by taking that exam and getting the required score by the deadline listed with the registration materials. If you need to change anything about your team registration, you can do so by stopping by our office or sending us an email. For more information about all the deadlines and to take that exam, you can go online to campusrec.fsu.edu/IM. Season information is there too. Team Captain's Guide, those schedules, the playoff draw meeting information, and playoff brackets, it's all on our website. And note that all teams, regardless of record, are advanced to the postseason as long as you have the appropriate sportsmanship score. So you can go 0-4 in the regular season. We are taking you to the playoffs where you can start a win streak and win it all. Just know that you have to have the right sportsmanship to make it into the playoffs. For more information about intramural sports, intramural basketball in particular, or anything going on with Campus Rec, give us a call. You can reach our intramural sports office at 850-644-2430, or you can email us through our website. And that's where you'll get all the rest of the information you need for the intramural sports seasons here at Florida State. It's at campusrec.fsu.edu/IM. With a look at the intramural basketball rules, I'm David Peters. Good luck in the upcoming intramural sports season.